All right, we got a lesson learned tonight on tweeters. We destroyed a tweeter, unfortunately. I was really pissed off, was screaming and yelling at it, and figured it's not going to bring it back to life. We just have to buy a new one. So what happened was we were doing some testing to try to figure out a good crossover for this system, and we were using a active crossover and some 160 watt per channel audio amplifiers. We had them bi-amped into this box, and the tweeter was directly wired to the amplifiers with no protection, no capacitor, no fuse, no nothing. And the interconnect cable fell and it hit the computer case down here, and it made a loud buzzing noise, 60 hertz noise, and it cooked the tweeter. So I was very angry, but I'm just gonna have to buy another tweeter. Whatever. If that's the worst thing that happens, we're still doing okay. Right? It's a $35 tweeter. All right, just live with it and learn from it. So we had here happen was that little tiny wire right there burned open because of the high transient noise that came in from the amplifier. So that's 160 watts per channel. These little tiny wires can't really take that, clearly. Now with a tweeter, when you have them crossed over through a capacitor, or more than one capacitor, through an LC filter, you have some blocking of the low frequencies. Whereas in a situation with no crossover, there is nothing to block the low frequency from flowing through this voice coil. The high frequency noises are going to be attenuated a little bit by the inductance of that voice coil, so we don't burn up the voice coil. But the low frequencies, it's like DC going right through there, because the inductance of this coil is very low. It's like, I don't know, 30 microhenries or something like that, if I recall correctly. And, that low frequency is just going to shoot right through there, and it just fused that wire right off. It sucks because they did a really good job in the design of this tweeter to cool the voice coil, because that's where most of the heat's going to be generated when the tweeter is operating, is in the actual coil. They don't expect the heat to really be generated in these little wires. But when you put a transient through there of high power, this wire, it looks like the fuse wire inside of like a half amp fuse, and it just popped right open, and that's it. Your tweeter's dead. Goodbye. Unfortunately, that's the magnet. Okay, there's the coil gap. Got some ferrofluid in there. It's got this nice damping piece on here, felt. It's got a nice cap. I'll save the cap in case these caps are metal. So in case one of these gets smashed in, we'll just save this one so we can fix it if we need. That's the bright side of the story here. To look on the optimistic side of things, we got some spare parts. But this that's your dome. Actually makes the tweeter sing. Voice coil. I got the ferrofluid all over the place here. But clearly, if you're going to do this and you're going to be, doing some experimentation, put some kind of capacitor or a fuse or a low value fuse in series with your line from the amplifier, just to protect the tweeter so you don't burn them up. Because you touch the end of an interconnect cable and you get that buzz, that 60 hertz buzz, it will incinerate the wiring inside this tweeter. Like that will blow like a fuse. So that's what we had happen.